Cathay Pacific Flight 780 cruises at 38,000 feet over the South China Sea. On a 4.5-hour flight from Surabaya, Indonesia, the plane is just 30 minutes from its destination of Hong Kong. Captain Malcolm Waters is one of Cathay Pacific's youngest captains. His first officer, David Hayhoe, is an ex-fighter pilot with the Royal Australian Air Force. The Airbus A330 is powered by two Rolls-Royce Trent 700 engines. Every aspect of flight operation is aided by advanced computers. 165 miles from Hong Kong Airport, the Airbus leaves cruising altitude and begins its descent. The aircraft is performing perfectly, and then something goes wrong.
What the hell was that?
The flight computer alerts the pilots to a problem.
Engine 2 stalled.
Plane's monitoring system indicates there's an issue with the right engine, engine number 2. Captain Waters reduces power on the engine to idle to protect it from damage, the lowest possible level while still keeping it running. It has an immediate effect. The engine noises disappear. Without thrust from the right engine, the pilots are now relying exclusively on the left engine to get them to Hong Kong. But as the flight crew prepares for landing, the left engine, engine number 1, also fails.
Engine 1 stalled.
Both engines are now still running, but producing no thrust. The plane is gliding. Without thrust, they won't make it to Hong Kong or any other airport. Despite several attempts, the pilots cannot get the engines to produce power. The pilots confront the grim prospect of ditching in the South China Sea.
I'm calling a Mayday.
Do it.
First Officer Hayhoe begins preparing to ditch the plane. Then Captain Waters gets an idea.
Okay. Try slow movements. Go slowly. Just ease in fuel. Easy does it.
Incredibly, it seems to be having an effect.
Rotation increasing in engine 1.
Captain Waters realizes that the engine won't go any higher than 74% power. With one engine working, the pilots can now attempt a landing at Hong Kong Airport. But there's no margin for error.
Okay, flaps 1.
Gear down.
Gear down.
The safest plan is to get the plane 5,500 feet from the ground, then pull engine 1 back to idle, reducing speed and altitude, in preparation for a gentle glide onto the runway. But just 1 minute from touchdown,
It's overspeed.
an overspeed warning sounds, a signal the aircraft is flying too fast. They should be slowing down. Engine 1 is still running at high speed, too high to land safely. The pilots have no choice but to risk a high-speed landing on a runway at the edge of the ocean.
Too low. Terrain. Pull up.
Going 100 knots faster than normal, Captain Waters pushes the nose down, forcing the Airbus onto the runway.
Brace.
At the end lies open water. The crew deploys reverse thrust and applies full braking power to avoid overshooting the runway.
No number 2 reverse. No decel.
Just one faulty engine is providing reverse thrust. Cathay Pacific Flight 780 screeches to a halt just a few thousand feet from the end of the airport's runway.
We made it. Nice one.
The passengers and crew evacuate safely with only a few minor injuries. Hong Kong's Civil Aviation Department immediately launches an investigation. Because the plane's Trent 700 engines were made by British company Rolls-Royce, Anne Evans of the British Air Accidents Investigation Branch joins the investigation. Investigators look to the plane's flight data recorder for answers. They start with the A330's engine functions.
Stop. What's going on here?
Right away, they notice something unusual.
Thrust levers are moving, but fuel flow's flatlining.
Right after the pilots tried to restore power to the engines by pushing the throttle up, the fuel flow remained the same. Investigators wonder if a fuel flow problem caused Flight 780's engine trouble. Evans turns to the plane's in-depth data logs. They explain in detail the error messages that appeared on the monitoring system throughout the flight.
Engine 2 control system fault.
Anne Evans discovers that early in the flight, the computers detected a problem in a key part of the fuel system called the main metering valve. The main metering valve is made up of a piston that slides within a cylinder. When the pilots move the thrust levers, it increases or decreases the flow of fuel to the A330's turbofan engines. engines. When investigators cut the valve open to study it, they find something they've never seen before. Microscopic analysis reveals that the powder is a type of superabsorbent polymer, or SAP, made up of tiny spheres. The powder is used in refueling trucks to prevent water from getting into the aircraft's fuel tanks. The refueling trucks pump fuel from underground tanks and pipes through a filter on the truck and into the aircraft. If the fuel is contaminated with water, the powder in the filter absorbs it by forming a gel inside the filter. But the waterlogged gel is supposed to stay in the filter. It should never end up in the fuel. Investigators recover the filters from the truck used to refuel Flight 780 at Surabaya Airport. And when they examine a sample of the filter under a microscope, investigators make a puzzling find. The powder spheres are encrusted with salt. When Anne's team conducts tests on fresh filters, exposing them to salt water, the filters collapse, just like the ones used to fuel Flight 780, allowing both the salt crystals and white powder spheres to pass through. Investigators now believe salt water collapsed the fuel filters, leading to powder contamination in the fuel system of Flight 780. But one critical question remains.
So, how did salt water get into the fuel system?
After a careful review of the fuel system at Surabaya Airport, investigators make a stunning discovery. The fuel system is located close to the sea, and during a recent upgrade, the open fuel pipes were possibly exposed to groundwater. Investigators now believe they know what happened to Cathay Pacific Flight 780. The underground fuel supply, contaminated with salt water, broke down a filter, releasing a powder into the fuel. The powder jammed the metering valves, preventing enough fuel from reaching the engines.
Engine 1 stall.
Investigators believe Captain Waters was able to restore some thrust in engine number 1, only because its fuel metering valve wasn't yet completely jammed. Only a small trickle of fuel was getting through.
Slowly, come on.
Once the spheres jammed the valve, it was stuck open, forcing Captain Waters to make the risky high-speed landing. Expert piloting brought Flight 780 safely to the ground. Since the accident, there have been efforts to improve the regulation of aviation fuel handling and storage. Manufacturers have designed the filters to prevent collapse and powder contamination. The crew's heroic efforts in the face of engine failure save Cathay Flight 780 from all but certain disaster.